Hello people, I am Jaby KOAY, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hi guys.
We're looking at the teaser trailer to KAAPPAAN, directed by Angad, starring Suriya, Mohanlal, Boman Irani, and Arya. This comes out August 2019, so mark your calendars. Here we go, let's check this out.
அவன் பேச்சு நடத்த பார்வை எதுவுமே சரியில்லை. Something is wrong with him.
Let me remind you about Sachin, Kargil, subsequent fight. அதான் விரும்புதா உங்க பாகிஸ்தான்?
தமிழ்நாடு பாலைவனமாக்கிட்டு இந்தியாவை சூப்பர் பவர் ஆக போறீங்க.
துபாய் கூட பாலைவனம் தான். அங்க படம் போட்டல
மக்களோட எதிர்ப்புணர்ச்சியை தூண்டி விட்டு விளையாடிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிற ஒரு நாஸ்டி பொலிட்டிக்கல் கேம்.
சார் தப்பிச்சு போன இந்த டெரரிஸ்ட் கண் முன்னாடி தான் போயிட்டு இருக்கான்.
நீங்க சீண்டி இருக்கிறது அமைதியா படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கிற புலியை பாயறதுக்கு ரொம்ப நேரம் ஆகாது.
இயற்கையாகவே உற்பத்தியான நதியை தனக்கு மட்டும்தான் சொந்த கொண்டாட உரிமை யாருங்க கொடுத்தா?
அப்படி ஒரு ரகசிய அடி கொடுக்கலச்சு அடிக்கணும். நான் அடிச்சது இந்த உலகத்துக்கே தெரியக்கூடாது. அவனையே அடி வாங்குறவங்களுக்கே தெரியக்கூடாது.
போராடுறதே தப்புனா போராடுற சூழ்நிலையை உருவாக்குறது தப்பு தானே?
நீங்களே நக்சல் மாதிரி பேசிட்டு இருக்கீங்க.
Was he really playing a bad guy? That's crazy.
I don't believe that for a second.
That'd be the first time I'd ever seen Suriya play a bad guy. If he's actually playing one. But he's obviously not the one who is playing the romantic lead in the movie.
Will you marry me?
It looks like Arya is playing the love interest here, and Suriya is playing this revolutionary, I guess. I'm not exactly sure where his allegiance is. The teaser does a good job, as most South Indian teasers do, of not really letting me know exactly what's going on. There's obviously some misdirection going here, where you think it's one thing and then it's actually another thing. Whoever you think is the good guy might be the bad guy, and the same vice versa. Whoever you think is the bad guy might be the good guy. That's what seems to make sense to me here. I'm trying to like expect the unexpected in order to properly prepare myself for this movie. But it looks like it's loaded with a lot of action, and it's very colorful, very vibrant green colors throughout. But it's also touching on some very hot button issues. You know, some very sensitive topics, some things that are not good for the dinner table type conversation.
Right.
Newsworthy dialogue, that kind of stuff. It's intense. It's intense and it's fun at the same time.
I don't really... The thing is, right, there's just something about Suriya that when I look at him, I'm like, he just looks like a hero.
The hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now.
He does not seem like the bad guy. Now, this could be him going, yeah, but I want to do something different with my career and I want to play the bad guy. Or it's just the teaser going, haha, I tricked you.
He played the bad guy and the good guy in 24. He actually knows how to play a very villainous villain. Like a super villain type of guy. I totally would buy him as a bad guy. If that's what this movie's committing to, I'd buy it. Like, I think he's really good at playing the villain. Albeit, the one time I saw him do that, it was a little bit more heightened in terms of the reality of it all. It was more comical. Not in a funny sense, but like comic book sense.
Right.
You know, it was a very heightened film. His performance in that film was my biggest takeaway outside of the music. Like, I just thought he was wonderful to watch, and he was really funny, very charming, and very adept at playing various different roles at the same time. I like him. I'm not as familiar with Arya, but obviously we know who Mohanlal is.
Yes.
So it's really cool to see them together. I don't know if they've ever worked together before, but both of their IMDb's are pretty thorough, so it'd be difficult to...
It's like two powerhouses of Indian, or more specifically South Indian cinema. But correct me if I'm wrong, but is Suriya more Tamil cinema and then Mohanlal is more Malayalam?
I think you might be right. I'm not exactly sure.
That's super cool though, to have two really famous, very prolific actors in their own industries come together.
It's also very timely movie. Given everything that's happened in recent events, I don't feel like this was just thrown together as a result of the recent events, because it takes time to develop a movie.
Yeah.
You got to write a script. You have to go through pre-production, location scouting, making sure you got the costumes, and like there's so much involved in production. It could take upwards of 6 months to a year to kind of just to get all that together.
Yeah.
And so this is just a big coincidence that this is on the heels of the incidents with Pakistan recently.
Yeah, but I mean, everything's just been kind of simmering, right? And then it's just kind of
course.
coming to a head now. But it is very interesting that so many movies that are coming out right now are very much hitting on that topic.
This initial shot where it says Subhaskaran presents is something I used to do a lot when I was a kid. They either did it one of two ways. They just shot it in normal motion and then they sped it up in post, or they undercranked it. And then they cut and they did normal motion once they got to him. So they could have shot it like at 12 frames to give you that sensation of moving quickly, and then shot it at 24 once they got to him. Or they just shot it normal all the way to him and then sped it up later on in post-production. Either way, that's something I used to do a lot when I was a kid, because it's a fun effect. It reminds me so much of the 90s, because we used to do that effect. We used to see it all the time on TV, that kind of stuff, where things would speed up and then slow down and then speed up again. People,
Right.
They don't do that as much anymore in America, but it still seems to be very prevalent in Indian cinema. Yeah, we looked at the trailer again. I'm still a little bit confused as to whether or not Suriya is a bad guy. It feels like he's a bad guy. Like the way he's blowing stuff up and killing people, like shooting people in broad daylight like that. I mean, it's very possible he's a double agent, or he's just appearing to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Kind of like the way, Jack Bauer would in 24, for instance. He would appear to be a terrorist, or actually a better example was in like season 7, Tony Almeida was thought to be a villain, and it turned out he was actually working for the good guys.
It's like deep undercover.
Yeah.
Like so deep that the good guys don't even know.
There was one season where like there was a Mexican cartel.
Oh, yeah.
And they thought that someone had betrayed CTU, but it turned out he was actually betraying the Mexican cartel, working for CTU, deep undercover.
Yeah.
And, like, it was very 24. Like this stuff is getting me excited with that stuff in mind. Like the double, triple crossing agent stuff. Like that stuff is exciting. Using the very real, scary threat of Pakistan and all that political and society ramifications that are very real, that are ongoing and very present. Using that as the backdrop for this exciting story is very interesting, because that's exactly what 24 would do.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's what's going on here. Like Suriya is just like a Jack Bauer of some kind, who's just secretly working for the good guys. It looked like he was a tricky, kind of like the Jackal. That's what it is. Bruce Willis, the Jackal.
We can't track it. But we have a physical description. At least that isn't going to change.
He's got a lot of faces.
அவன் பேச்சு நடத்த பார்வை எதுவுமே சரியில்லை.
He was able to disguise himself as anybody. This is a movie with Richard Gere. I'm surprised you don't know about this, because your mom loves Richard Gere.
She does.
But The Jackal's a film where Bruce Willis was literally able to transform himself into anybody, and he was committing terrorist acts. But I think he was being paid to commit these terrorist acts. But
Okay.
he was like a really bad guy. Either way, it's cool. It's interesting. If you guys haven't seen The Jackal, if you haven't seen 24, you should check both of those out.
இந்த சீண்டி இருக்கிறது அமைதியா படுத்துட்டு இருக்கிற புலியை.
It looks like he's being tortured here by Arya.
There's a lot going on. There's like layer upon layer of intrigue.
At one point they showed London, because you always got to throw London in there.
Oh yeah.
London is like the go-to Western territory every time, like for Indian films. Like it's always London, and it's usually like the same bridge.
It's a very iconic bridge.
Yeah, hold up.
Green is my favorite color, and 8 is my favorite dollar.
No, wait. The director of this movie was the cinematographer on The Legend of Bhagat Singh.
Oh,
That's wild.
that's cool.
That's pretty wild. I really like that movie a lot, and so it's very interesting that he was the cinematographer on that film. He likes to direct a lot of films that start with the letter K. Kana Kandan, Ko, Kavan, KAAPPAAN. He's got an affinity for that letter. This looks very exciting. I'm very intrigued. Political intrigue, war, spies, double agents.
விட்டு விளையாடிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிற ஒரு nasty.
Misleading the people. They're trying to touch on everything in this. Manipulating the emotions of the people. It's a nasty political game. They're showing cops being
Brutal.
crooked and brutal. This movie's trying to do everything.
Ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, it's got my interest for sure, and I hope that it shows up over here in the States so that we can check it out. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Do let us know your thoughts on the teaser and your thoughts on our thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss notifications whenever we drop a new video. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, interviews. I'm Jaby KOAY. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.